Arctic, the final frontier. The Cold War forced more active, tense and uncharted explorations of the North Pole, of its capabilities and possibilities for creation of bases and landing fields. This was the time when the Soviet Union launched its first secret expeditions to the North Pole. Events that happened during that time left a huge effect on countries and their relations, and their impact can still be felt. Many Soviet polar explorers were arrested, jailed or even shot to bury their secrets with them. Those in concentration camps or prisons continued their work, but the Soviet authorities kept their studies classified. They only became available to public with the end of the Cold War and the fall of the communist regime. Today some of their secrets can now be found in these files.
I participated in the Sever expedition, which aimed for a short period of time to hold very important scientific work on the possibilities for use of equipment in the Central Polar Basin. In 1947, UK Prime Minister Churchill made an address in Fulton, and this basically became the day when the Cold War began. And all foreign papers and magazines were writing that the war will be held on the North, and the center of military action would be the North Pole, and the Central Polar Basin would become a Mediterranean Sea. And as protection of our northern borders was required, it appeared that we did not know enough on issues of creating airfields in the Central Polar Basin, opportunities of creating bases there, or landing fields on unprepared ice.
The Arctic was strategically important, as way of missiles, heavy bombers, submarines and warships paths went through it. Emotions were strongly aggravated with talks and publications that a new war was approaching and that it would be soon, and the center of it would lie in the Central Arctic Basin.
The North is our security. Of course, the armed forces were always ready. They're ready now as well. This all was made to protect our northern borders, so that those sides which unfavorably look at our country see that there is a power which is capable of protecting its northern borders.
At that time, expeditions had to be kept secret, so no other nation would even guess about plans to explore the pole. The place for the North Pole 2 station, which became a home for a number of expeditions, was encrypted as Point 36. No extrinsic powers should have seen the place of the station or know about it. The secrecy of the issue was so important that if unveiled, the USSR would rather destroy the station.
When a U.S. plane was flying over us, I ran to a tent where our expedition's head, Mikhail Somov, was holding hydrological studies, and he said, "God forbid if they notice us." I said, "And what if they land here?" Then even worse. And then he told me very briefly, laconically, do not tell anyone, that he was summoned to some higher institution and instructed him that if we get carried onto the U.S. side, the station must be destroyed.
Американскую сторону, станцию надо уничтожить.
He didn't give any names or say administrative bodies, but obviously there were people and bodies interested in keeping it secret using terrifying ways. The Americans did not know about the station and people working and living there up until 1954. This became proof that elements of secrecy were well organized.
Nowadays, the Arctic is still actively explored because it holds vast oil and gas resources, and as they may become within reach due to global warming, the Arctic has become a battleground of the control of these reserves. The struggle for the land is becoming more and more intensified. But did those who first explored this land realize what it carries?
I think that no one realized that then. All of the fuss erupted when it emerged that the Central Polar Basin has a huge area with gas and oil. It ceased to be a region of travel, stopped being a region of weather, became an economic zone. And of course, here are neighbors, the Swedes, Norwegians, Danes, the Americans and Canadians. They began to argue what part of the Arctic belongs to them, but the dispute is still not solved. I think it will be resolved. We have something to share.
The Arctic was interesting not only to us, and now a new, very active phase is unfolding. And this is great that we have descended to a depth of, if I'm not mistaken, 4,200 meters at the pole. On our behalf, the place was historically developed. It is not enough to just discover it, it should also be studied. Due to these studies, all reserves were opened. In any case, we should not leave the place and should continue studying it.
Although the USSR secret expeditions to the North Pole were declassified, critics say that some data remain closed for ordinary people.
This is nonsense, because everything has long been revealed. Volumes of studies of the Central Arctic Basin, which involved all of the best of our polar explorers, were published. Each event is surrounded by legends.
The North Pole still holds legend and secrets. Those who have been there uncovered some of them, but more remain a mystery.